Hi everyone, we're here at the Lean In Pakistan headquarters at the Barak Center for our Lean In Pakistan Foundation story number 18 with the incredible Nabila Bano. Now, not only is she an amazing corporate woman extraordinaire, but Nabila has a voice truly like an angel. And the last few years has, in addition to her corporate work, made her mark as a performing artist, and she's chairing the Lean In Pakistan Performing Arts Circle. So we're so thankful to her and excited to meet her and proud of her. Hi, Nabila. How are you?
Hi, Uzra. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me on this series.
Yes, well, you are such an inspiration to us. Plus, you're such a celebrity. So thank you for giving your time to us.
It's my honor and pleasure. Thank you.
And for those of you watching around the world, I really mean she's a celebrity. So normally Nabila charges for each minute of her time. So we're very, very lucky to have a few moments with her today for Lean In.
Thank you, Uzra. I'm very excited to be able to be on this series and to be able to have a chat with you and, chat about all the things that we are facing in Pakistan and trying to pursue our, ambitions and our aspirations.
Absolutely. And Lean In Pakistan is a platform, as is Lean In, of course, that focuses on women's ambitions. And so Nabila is such a true Lean In woman. And so let's begin with you. Nabila, you've come from one of the best families, oldest families in Pakistan, and yet you made a mark on your name in your own right. Can you talk a little bit about growing up? And you grew up quite like a princess.
Well, that's very kind of you. Well, I was born in an industrial family who were the pioneers of industry in Pakistan. My grandfather and then my father laid the foundation of several industries in Pakistan. They were the pioneers of bulbs and sugar and steel mill. And I grew up in a business family, and since childhood, I always wanted to be in the business circles or the corporate world. And I was very clear from the beginning that MBA was a degree I wanted to pursue, which will be able to give me the knowledge to pursue, either a business of my own, or to participate in the family business, or to then pursue a corporate career. So, where children are very confused about what they want to do when they grow up, I, from the very start, was crystal clear that MBA was the degree I wanted to do. And that's what I pursued. And I did that through, I did some subjects that helped me in my MBA, in my O levels and my A levels. I did my economics, commerce, accounting. I found that I had a flair for it. So I was very good at those subjects because I loved it so much. And then I did my A levels and I pursued my business administration bachelor's and then my MBA. So after having done that, which was from England and America, I came back to Pakistan. But during my stay in England, I was also very passionate about two more things in life, which I wanted to pursue. One of them was my music, and the other was a sport which was very unusual at that time for Pakistani women, but I really loved it. And it was a national sport, but never played by women. And that sport was cricket. So I wanted to be a rebel and play cricket. So I played cricket with my uncles, and they encouraged me as a child. And when I went to England, I found that there was a women's cricket team in England. So I went and enrolled in their women's cricket club, and they found that I had a natural flair. And then I got selected to play for Middlesex, which was a big honor. I was the first Pakistani woman to have been selected to play for county cricket, and I represented Middlesex. So that was a huge, thrilling moment in my life when I was asked to join the Middlesex Club, and I played with all the English ladies. And then
there was a match in England.
Cricket in England. I played for county, and then I played club cricket. So I was there for 5 years in England. During my education, I was studying at college and then university, and then I would play on the weekends, and during the week there would be net practices. I would play at the Lord's Indoor School, which was a thrill to be able to play at the Lord's Indoor Cricket School, MCC Indoor School. And then there was a match that was taking place at the Oval, which was the first time women were being allowed to enter the mecca of cricket, which was the Oval Cricket Ground, which had never been played on before by ladies. And I was amongst the first group of ladies who were allowed to play at the Oval, where we played against the England 11, and I was part of the invitation 11 representing the counties. So that was such a moment in my life where I got to play on the main center pitch of the Oval. And, I still save some of the grass of that main pitch to be able to keep it as a memento for the rest of my life, because I was such a cricket buff. And so I played a lot of cricket, and I knew Pakistan had no women's cricket. So I had made up my mind that the moment I'd go back to Pakistan, I would start a women's cricket team. So I came to Pakistan, and of course I started applying for a corporate career because my father wanted me to first get the corporate world's experience before I enter my own business. So I applied and I got selected for Unilever, which was a big thing during those days.
Still is.
Yeah, it still is. And just before I was applying for Unilever, I had a little bit of a time window, and that's when I started the women's cricket team simultaneously. And we would play against a men's team. I would take the entire team in my van and pick up all the girls and take them to the cricket ground, book the cricket grounds, get sponsorships, and play against men's teams because we could barely muster up enough girls to do a team. So that was great. We got covered by newspapers. I had articles written about me in the newspapers. The girls got a lot of coverage. I got a lot of coverage. So that was very exciting. We played against the men's team. And then, of course, I had a corporate career as well. It was very difficult to manage, things together. But I somehow managed, and we fought against the Pakistan Cricket Board to accept us officially, but they were not very open at that time. I was amongst the pioneers of women's cricket in Pakistan, and I was the first person who started women's cricket in Karachi. And all the girls who followed later they came much later. I started my women's cricket team in 1989. Wow. That's a long time ago, yeah. And we played at the National Stadium, and all the cricket board people, the older ones, know me. But I fought for being recognized as a for cricket to be recognized as a women's sport. It took a lot of years of persuasion and persistence for them to finally recognize us. And now, mashallah, Pakistan has a full-fledged women's cricket team. So we're very, very proud of that. And that's when I sort of realized that for women to really want to achieve things in Pakistan, you have to be very determined, you have to be very hardworking and persistent, and not be dissuaded by anybody who's trying to discourage you from achieving your dreams and ambitions.
Wonderful. Now, you were just describing that you created a team, you got the sponsorship, you found the girls to play alongside you, you convinced them and their families to be okay with it.
Yes.
Created an entire team, then convinced the boys' side to allow you girls' side to play against the boys' side, arranged the press. You were one person, you should be running the country. This is incredible. It's that's no joke. You had 20 positions that you filled all yourself single-handedly.
I was wearing several caps. I was, the manager of the team. I was the person who was handling all the finances and trying to raise money to pay for the equipment. The girls couldn't afford the equipment. I had to get the equipment organized. I had to get the grounds. There was a constant struggle because the boys were not willing to give us their grounds. The management of the grounds was like, women don't play cricket. And I'm like, they do in England. And that's where I've come from. And I'm going to start a team in Pakistan. But I'm very happy that the press really supported us. And I got covered by the Dawn newspaper. The first article about my team was written by the famous Farishte Ghathi, she Farishte Aslam, who was then, in those days, a sports editor, a sports journalist. And she wrote about us. And then a lot of magazines covered us. There was a big magazine in those days called The Mag. And we got full-page photos and write-ups.
There's still Mag Weekly.
Covered us. They did articles on me. Then I got interviewed by television. I mean, Mr. Chishti Mujahid interviewed me, Mr. Sikandar Bakht interviewed me. So there was like very interesting times during the
You
sports.
clearly have always known what you want. From knowing at a young age you wanted an MBA, from knowing you wanted to play cricket, and then that you wanted to
That's
bring it to
right. And even when I
Pakistan.
was a young girl, you see, I wanted to live. Yeah. So, Uzra, I believe that when you're given a life by Allah and, by His grace, I wanted to live my dreams and pursue them. And there was more than one dream, because I was interested in so many different facets that life had to offer. I was interested in sports, in music, in traveling, and then in the corporate circles, and to do, to work with in the business circles. So I wanted to, really plan my life in a way where I could give dedicated time to certain areas in each span of my life. So when you were younger, I planned that I would play cricket and start a career in the corporate world, which would take me to the top, hopefully, because I was determined to reach the top management. And I entered as a management trainee, which was the lowest management circle level at Unilever, where they pick the best people and groom them to reach the top. So I managed to get into there, and then I started this team. And then I knew that later on in my life, after I'd built a corporate career, I wanted to pursue my music, because being in the corporate world, it is very difficult to fight the biases. If you start becoming a singer and you're a serious corporate executive, they don't take you extremely seriously, and then you don't get your breaks and your promotion. So I had to keep that hobby and passion of mine on the back burner until I felt I had achieved my career objectives, and then I could come out in the open and want to pursue a singing career simultaneously, which is what I did. I waited until I got my promotions. I was I was promoted to manager, then senior manager, then marketing manager, and eventually I became the youngest marketing director when I was hardly 30. I was made the marketing director of a very big multinational called ST Johnson Global. It was a global multinational, and they had opened their corporate office in Pakistan, and they selected me, and they told me that if I reached certain objectives, they would make me a marketing director. And within a year and a half, I had achieved all the objectives, and then they promoted me. So I was very happy that I became a director, which meant that I had achieved my sort of, something that I wanted to, a milestone in my life. And then I would eventually go towards working as a corporate senior executive and then pursue my music. So then I worked in several multinationals as a director. So when I decided to pursue my career, I had already worked for nearly 25 years as a corporate executive and had amassed enough knowledge about the business, about the various departments of the corporate world, which interact with each other to be able to make the business deliver its profits and its revenues. So I understood the way sales works with marketing, and marketing works with finance, and finance works with HR, and everything is interconnected. So I worked in each of the departments to be able to understand business from the various angles and aspects. So after working in different multinationals at very senior levels and being part of the board, I decided to start my own management consulting firm, which would then allow me the time to pursue my music. Because when you're in the corporate world, you can't work 9 to 9 and then pursue a music career. You don't have the time to give to music. So my objective was to be able to reach director level, start my own consulting firm. Hopefully by then I would have achieved.
Wonderful. Welcome back, Nabila.
Thank you. I'm sorry about, I don't know what happened. It just,
No worries. We were just all so riveted by your descriptions of how you balanced and juggled your career, but also strategically planned out your career so that once you owned and ran your own marketing firm, you could then begin the your performance career, which is just absolutely so inspiring.
Yeah, so then I learned my classical music, which gave me a foundation. and enabled me to sing lighter versions of music, which is pop and film songs and all. And then I got a group of amazing musicians to support me in my band, and so I had a band that would support me, and I started doing live performances, which is one of the most thrilling things in my life that I've ever done. Thrilling because when you're on stage in front of people, you cannot make a mistake. If you make a mistake, there's no replay. You can't fix it, because when you sing in a studio and you just record a song, you got 100 chances to fix it, and the machine fixes it for you. But when you sing it live, you've got to be absolutely spot on. Otherwise, your mistakes get picked up. That's thrill, because when the musicians play with me and I sing and the audience is watching, and you see their facial reactions, you see the interaction that they have with you, and it's very thrilling. So that's what I'm continuing to do as a performing artist now. And I want to perform in different parts of the world. That is my ultimate goal, inshallah. I've performed in the US, and I've performed in Karachi and in Lahore and Islamabad, and inshallah I plan to perform in other cities as well. My band travels with me when I go, and they're like my family, so I'm very connected to my musicians. And I'm continuing to compose my own songs and create my own music. And I also believe, Tara, that one has to have a balance between your worldly pursuits and your spiritual pursuits. So I, for one, believe that, when God has given you a certain talent, which I'm grateful to Allah, He's given me a good voice, because everybody likes my voice, alhamdulillah. So, I guess I've been told that I have a nice voice, and alhamdulillah. So I wanted
amazing voice.
So I wanted to devote, my singing to even sort of, singing hamd for Allah, and to sing naat for the Prophet, peace be upon him. So I've composed
Nabila,
my own naats and hamd.
Can you explain to people who may not know what those are? Because we have viewers around the world.
So naat is basically a way of, it's to present our gratitude to the Prophet and to praise him. That's naat. And hamd is the praise of Allah. So I have sung Allah is God. So to sing praises of God is called hamd, and I've created my own composed hums with the lyrics and the music to praise the God, and to praise the Prophet. I've composed my own music for the naats for the Prophet, and my own lyrics. I work with the poets to create the lyrics. So that's something I do for my devotional side of music. And then I, of course, love my pop music. So I sing in both English and Urdu. I'm one of the very few artists in Pakistan who sings in 2 languages simultaneously on stage, where I have 2 bands supporting me, because in Pakistan, the band that plays Urdu music, which is our language, doesn't play Western music. And the band that plays Western music in Pakistan, they do not play Urdu music. So I actually have to have 2 bands, one on the right, one on the left, and I sing in a double language concert where I have an audience that listens to both English and Urdu. And so I give them songs in both the languages, one after the other, and they love it. It's like me being a DJ but singing live. Sometimes I give them Urdu, sometimes I give them English, all classic songs. I love R&B and jazz. I'm one of the few jazz singers in Pakistan who does Western jazz and R&B and soul. So I have a band that plays the classic songs with me on stage. And I have a band that plays film songs, current contemporary film songs, older songs from the films, Bollywood, Hollywood, and ghazals of Pakistan and India. And, I do a lot of versatile singing. So my audiences basically tell me that they love my versatility, because they can listen to things that, everyone likes. That there's something for everyone in the audience. If you're a jazz lover, you'll get a jazz song. If you're a ghazal singer, if you love ghazals or film songs, you'll get film songs in Urdu, which is the language that is spoken in Pakistan. So I try to be versatile and give them a pure entertainment.
Amazing. Now, in this journey, I had so many questions I have, but first I want to talk about your parents. And as a little girl in Pakistan with all these ambitions, you did say your father encouraged you with your corporate career aspirations, but the image many people have of Pakistani women isn't that as little girls they're going to go off and play cricket and join the corporate sector, or even have not only and build a name for themselves, but have a voice for themselves. So talk a little bit about your family support in that.
So my grandfather and my father both were very encouraging, and they were a huge influence on my life. My mother was an amazing person, extremely graceful and extremely beautiful, and she passed away very young. She was only 40 when she passed away, but she had a beautiful voice, and she always encouraged me to pursue my dreams. And she herself was very talented, you know, in many ways, and a very favorite of the family. But she passed away very young. My father then chose to stay single. He was madly in love with my mother, and he never wanted to marry again, although he was only in his mid-40s when he became a widower. And he brought up his four children. One of them was me, the eldest, and my two younger sisters and my brother. So I was the eldest child, and my father treated me like a grown up, because my mother went when I was the eldest child and very young, and my siblings were even younger than me. So the whole family treated me like an adult, even though I was younger. So I never really had a childhood as such. They would treat me like a big member of the family, and when the decisions were happening about anything regarding the family or whatever, they would include me. So I was groomed to be able to manage the house, to manage aspects of my life and of my family's life, take decisions. So my father really encouraged me. My grandfather encouraged me. I'm the only member of the family, although he had many grandchildren. He bought me my car, my first car, and I started driving when I was only 15 years old. So none of the other grandchildren were given that privilege by him. He adored me. So he encouraged me to pursue my dreams. I was the first child that was sent abroad to study.
How
So they
wonderful.
really encouraged me to
Well,
pursue my dreams. They knew I was a rebel, but they never tried to tone down my personality. I was completely a rebel. I was defying the normal sort of expected role of a female in an industrial family where you grow up and you get married and you become extremely domesticated. But that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to pursue the, a corporate career. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to play my cricket. I wanted to travel the world, and I've actually achieved all those things, alhamdulillah. Uzra, it takes a lot of courage to be able to travel the world, and I chose to stay single because I just felt that until I find the right person in my life, just to get, to follow and conform the expected role of, that society has from you. So I continued my pursuits, and I started traveling alone, and my family was very encouraging. They would phone me every single day. Am I being audible? Can you hear me?
yes, now we can. But your stories are amazing, and traveling around the world by yourself is, I think, an interview in itself that we should
Absolutely
have one
alone.
day.
Absolutely alone to countries where I didn't even speak the language. 33 countries and still counting. And I love
And
traveling alone.
such an inspiration. And
Yeah.
Nabila, even the fact that you were able to have the courage to put on hold your singing vocational career because of pursuing other tasks, it's just such an inspiration to everyone. We are out of time now for today's interview, but Nabila, you are not only an inspiration, but you are a true lean-in woman. Story after story you share today, from cricket to corporate to music to travel, are all about lean-in moments in the truest sense. And it's been a real honor interviewing you today.
Thank you for having me on the show. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you.
And have
And
a
best of
wonderful
luck
rest of
to
your day.
you
Thank you.
for Lean In. Take care.